At Seattle's most prestigious elementary school, children are given the guidance they need.
Deep breath in, deep breath out.
To become good citizens of the world. Fortunately, this academy just hired the perfect teacher. Dolph Lundgren is Kindergarten Cop 2.
This machine owes me to expire.
He's an undercover FBI agent looking for stolen data.
How close are you to making a breakthrough?
There's definitely warming up to me.
And one of these kids holds the key.
They are totally useless for reliable information.
To uncover the truth, he'll have to use every trick in the book.
They can smell fear.
They're 6.
I have 2 mommies, and they tell me I shouldn't trust boys.
Next!
From Universal Pictures.
They're children. I can handle this.
Dude, you're dreaming.
Hey, settle down! Put that away!
Comes an all-new movie.
Things can spiral out of control very quickly.
You're a little monster.
Mr. Lee gave us chocolate.
She's funny.
Starring Dolph Lundgren.
All right, everybody, let's sit down. Indian style.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And Bill Bellamy.
You don't say Indian style.
See what I got to deal with?
Is that the other kindergarten teacher? She is fine.
The school isn't what I expected.
Tell me about it.
Kindergarten Cop 2.
That's how Zach Reed, kindergarten teacher, rolls. Did you just?
Own it on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD.
Yeah. All right. Go, Gogs.
Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is the who knows what week of Dolph Vegas it is.
Vegas.
I've lost this last movie, Kindergarten Cop 2, but we watched has given me pudding brains.
Yeah.
It was. We went 12 rounds.
It is the textbook definition of unnecessary sequel.
This is like a cash grab question mark.
Cash grab. What money did this make?
It had to have made. I think you said we were watching it. This reeks of tax shelter.
No, I said that for art's sake, I hope that it's a tax shelter because otherwise it has no reason to exist.
Yeah, it's
it's offensive if it's not a tax shelter.
I'm trying to remember if I remember really enjoying the first Kindergarten Cop, but now I kind of want to rewatch it and go.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean,
we'll discuss, I'm sure, at length the differences between the original and the similarities.
Yeah, but so Kindergarten Cop 2 was the quote unquote cash grab tax shelter that happened 16 years later, just when the world was screaming for a fresh Kindergarten Cop film.
It's a real Blade Runner 2049 situation.
It's Blade Runner 2049.
What if it was Kindergarten Cop 2049?
I mean, I might not be mad at Kindergarten Cop 2049.
Denny Villanueva's Kindergarten Cop 2049. Baby Goose has to teach a kindergarten class, but before he does it, he has to go find Arnold out in the wasteland.
No, he's got to find out if the kids are real.
Yo,
and it's just an extended bot camp test, but with kids saying vagina.
Dude, it's a whole kindergarten class full of replicant kids. And he's got to raise them. Oh, this is
so. On IMDb, there is no mention of the budget at all, which is strange. And one of the production companies, which is kind of funny to me. So this, for some reason,
the Chinese government.
So this movie has 5 different production companies.
Universal released it, right?
Imagine did. Remember?
Yeah, they're under the Universal.
Oh, they're the umbrella. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah. But Where's Arnold Production is one of them, which I can only assume is a production company that exists for movies that Arnold Schwarzenegger should be in, but isn't. Oh
shit!
A wild Alec appears.
Name that Pokemon.
It's Alec. No, it's Snorlax.
Snorlax.
Snorlax is the best. You're the one that I had no negative connotation to that. It's my favorite one. No, Ghastly is my favorite one.
I'm a big...
Oh, God. Wait a big dud.
Ghastly is not a dud, dude. He's like a ghost. He's cool. He's a ghost-type Pokemon.
Yeah.
So am I.
That is true. All right.
We were just talking about the secretive financials of Kindergarten Cop 2, and
Yeah, there's like no information on its budget like that I can find.
it was made by Hey Arnold Productions or Where's Arnold?
Where's Arnold Productions?
Maybe it was just made by some rich like Estonian that has beef with Albania.
I found something. $15 million budget.
Holy.
No, that's the original. This is the original.
Yeah, there's
that
no
can't be
way.
right. That can't be right because it says $15 million budget and $200 million gross. There's no way.
I feel like they had like, I don't know, like Mercedes E-Class money, and they were like, we can either make this movie or we can buy a car. Let's just.
No, I feel like the budget negotiations were like, you can have one popsicle from the freezer, and they took the birdcage as well.
All right, so okay, I can't find budget numbers, but it made $200,000 in like domestic sales, like between streaming and I guess DVD. I don't know if that's good or not for this kind of movie. Anyway,
it's full of deregulated blues.
Anyway, let's get into what we watched this week. Shaunn.
I only watched one thing.
One thing?
I watched Kiki's Delivery Service because I wanted to watch a movie where people actually cared about the product they were making for once.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, that shit's still really good. Like, they do that kind of, like, coming-of-age animated shit better than anybody. So, if you haven't seen it...
I've never seen it.
I'm not familiar.
Really?
All the Studio Ghibli stuff that was on HBO Max now, I think.
Yeah, it's also on Plex.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because I put them all. That's right.
Yeah. Because I thought you were doing, like, a rewatch or something of them. But, yeah, like, I recommend all those. And it's nice to hear Phil Hartman's voice again.
Oh.
Yeah, I've only seen 2 of their movies. It's a big black hole in my, like, cultural purview or whatever.
What's the gist of Kiki's Delivery Service?
It's like every town has a witch that takes up residence, and they all have to perform some function. She can't quite figure it out, so she kind of invents like magical Uber Eats, but she sucks at it.
It sounds charming, actually.
I think Vance would really like it. Like,
I'll give it a look.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. Like, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's not as good as like Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro or however you actually pronounce that, but
yeah,
it's definitely better than most animated movies.
And it's actually animated well. It's all hand done. Looks great.
But that's all I watched. Alec.
I didn't watch anything. TJ.
Hell yeah.
I watched 2 things. One of them is tabled, and one of them I won't talk about very much because nobody cares besides me. I watched Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. It's the finale of Neon Genesis Evangelion Rebuild series, a series that has taken fucking 20 years to get fucking finished. And it's a series that's had its ups and downs. I've kind of been against it and for it at equal parts during the entire run of this, and it's one of the rare cases where it completely redeemed itself. It's amazing. I think it's a fucking masterpiece. It's completely insane. It would give me a brain hemorrhage to try to explain some of the sequences in this movie. But it's brilliant, and it's like a really fitting send-off to the whole series.
Does it give you like a better appreciation of the other movies? Because I know you weren't like super fond of a lot of the
movies. I mean, I'm still like, it's still kind of annoying that it took 20 years for this. I mean, this series was supposed to have been finished in like 2012 or something. Like, they started these in 2002, and it's like they just Anno did Shin Godzilla in between these, and that's one of the reasons why it got so delayed.
Good. I'm glad it was delayed then.
Yeah.
And then, I love Shin Godzilla, but then Anno also would come out in interviews and act like he didn't want anything to do with these movies, and that kind of led people to go, "What the hell's going on?" And I don't know. In the end, I thought it was fucking amazing, and on an animation level, like some of the stuff they pull off in this movie. I was telling Gogs, I was thinking about back when I was a kid. I used to have a bunch of the novelizations of movies. I don't know why. They must have been cheap books because I had a bunch of them.
Yeah, you get them at grocery stores. It's cheaper than actually taking you to
Are you
the
talking
movie.
about literary films for pages?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you guys had at least one or two of these in your house.
Yeah.
I had
lots of them for Nintendo games. I had the novelization of
I had those too. They were
the Scholastic Nintendo game ones were insane.
They
like,
were dude, Blaster Master was an adult novel.
that
like
one.
that
I had
thing
that
was dark.
and that and Metal Gear, and like the Metal Gear one has nothing to do with Metal Gear. It's like they just told them the title was Metal Gear.
I remember the worst one that I had was the Spaceballs one, which is like if you can try to imagine to try to make Spaceballs into a book and try to be funny, it was terrible. But anyway,
I think I talked about it on the show. I had the Gremlins one, and it has Gizmo's like origins from another planet or some shit. It was based on the original script.
Yeah, I think you did mention that. But I was thinking of if they still did that kind of thing, the poor son of a bitch that would have to try to figure out how to explain what's going on screen. Like half the time, it's like, well, this giant ship that's like made up of robots is like crashing into this force field that's made up of like human blood, and then there's thousands of other 100-foot robots that are like flying at this ship, and it's like they're dead, and they like it's insane. It's fucking nuts. It's like visually amazing. But I mean, it's great. I loved it. I will probably go back and watch the entire series now. If anybody's interested, you can watch all the rebuilds are on Amazon Prime now. The other little thing I will say right before I stop talking about this is that I don't know what happened when Netflix put Ava on Netflix, because they got a whole new English voice cast, and people like me that love the show from the old days and the DVDs, it can't stand the new English voice cast. Well, the original voice cast is back for the rebuild. They've done all the rebuild films, and they're back for this one. So it was nice to like get those guys back to the characters that you like to hear them as. But I absolutely loved it. I don't know. It was kind of an emotional movie for me. It felt a lot like how I felt after I watched the original Final Ava movie, which is like a fucking masterpiece. It's very good, and I was fully expecting to be disappointed. So yeah, I loved it. And then the other thing I watched is Tabled. So Gogs.
I watched a bunch of animated shit with my kids that I've talked about 1,000 times. The new things I've watched here on TV, the podcast, is I meant to mention this the other week. I started watching Doom Patrol, which I'm really enjoying.
Those are rules, yeah.
And I started watching the Harley Quinn animated show, which also kicks ass. So I'm wondering if like all the best DC properties are things that DC just kind of just stays the fuck away from and doesn't really pay much attention to, because I feel like they're not investing a ton in either of those, and both of those are really entertaining and kind of like stuff I hadn't seen before. What I've seen in Doom Patrol so far, I fucking love. Like, Brendan Fraser's great in it, and I don't know if I've ever said that before. And
excuse me, sir, have you not seen The Mummy?
Oh, that
and
is true.
The Mummy Returns?
Bedazzled?
Yeah.
Actually, I did love Bedazzled, and I did love The Mummy. So never mind. Yeah. So good on you, Brendan Fraser. You're back in a big way in a robot suit, and then
and now he's going to be in some terrible sounding Darren Aronofsky movie, which is going to be bad. So
and also
apparently
sounding Scorsese movie.
Apparently he got blackballed forever for calling out sexual harassment in Hollywood.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Everybody's like, oh, he was not lying. He was telling the truth the whole time.
Oh. Yeah, I heard about that too. I knew nothing about him and the sexual harassment thing. It's terrible.
That's awful. I had heard there was a big push about everybody was kind of like rooting for him recently, but I didn't know.
That's why. That's why. It's
good
crazy.
For you, Brendan Fraser, you're a good human being. But yeah, that Harley Quinn show, fucking great. I'm really enjoying it. The voice cast on that show is nuts.
Did you get to the one where Robin becomes her arch nemesis?
No, I'm only two episodes. I'm only 2 episodes deep, but I will say Alan Tudyk does a really good Joker voice. Like, I really like his Joker. And I never thought of like Kaylee Coco or whatever her name is, and she's doing an excellent.
What does she do?
She's Harley Quinn. And what's her name? Lake Bell from Children's Hospital, which I think is a powerfully underrated show, is Poison Ivy, and she's great in it too.
I gotta watch it.
And then the other thing I watched with TJ, which we can talk about, which is Michael Mann's Manhunter.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Shaunn, did you know that that Shout Factory Blu-ray apparently is worth like $150?
Are you serious?
Yeah, Gogs told me about it. I had no idea.
Because you guys were talking it up so much, I wanted to watch the director's cut.
I love that fucking... I still wouldn't sell it, I don't think.
But it's on eBay right now. The Shout Factory Blu-ray for $150 because you can't get the director's cut.
I'm sorry. I wish I would have bought the fucking why can't I think of his name? The fucking Tetsuo director.
Shinya Tsukimoto.
Yeah, I wish I bought those because those Blu-rays now are like $300 or $400 for that.
Those jumped up already. Goddamn, they just came out. That sucks.
Yeah, we got to watch the director's cut of Manhunter, which I had never seen before, and TJ's seen plenty of times.
Yeah, I've seen
the theatrical cut of it.
We watched the director's
I've never seen the
cut.
theatrical. I've never seen either cut. I've seen Red Dragon, which is fine. But this was super good. That guy from
Gogs.
Yes, sir.
Red Dragon was directed by Brett Ratner. That's what we couldn't think of last night. Yeah. I was like, I know Red Dragon's directed by somebody that sucks. I thought it was
that guy. He hates rehearsals.
Yeah, he says it's for F slurs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, Red Dragon was directed by somebody that sucks, and I thought it was Mick G, but it was actually Brett Ratner.
How many times?
It's easy to get those two confused.
Right? That's what I said.
That a million times.
They're basically the same guy.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Manhunter. I think William Peterson. I never watched CSI, so I can't. This is like an unfair criticism, but his character from CSI, from the commercials I've seen, always seemed way up his own ass. So I was like, I don't think I care for him in anything else. I fucking absolutely loved him as Will Graham. I give me more Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter. I thought he was great. I don't know if he's as good as Tony Hopkins, but he's fucking great in this movie. Extra big ass Dennis Farina, who's way taller than I ever gave him credit for, is great in it. And Tom Noonan is fucking terrifying in this
Tom
movie.
Noonan's fantastic. That sequence where he's in the van and he's like spying on the blind girl, and he like in his mind he thinks they're like doing something inappropriate, but they're clearly not. But it's like he's got that like crazy intensity in his eyes, and he rips the upholstery off of the dashboard. Like, it's just, he's so good.
The movie was just great.
What's his name? You freaked out at what's his name?
Stephen Lang.
It's Stephen Lang, who looks nothing like the Stephen Lang we're familiar with.
I would never in a million years would have guessed that was Stephen Lang.
Yeah, with his curly red hair. He looks like fucking Harry Osborn.
That scene with him is like, I mean, I will say this, in Red Dragon, the scene with not William H. Macy, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ray Fiennes, same scene, is a good scene. They're both great. Ray Fiennes is outstanding.
You got two really good actors. I mean, and a cool like setup anyway. Like, they redo that scene in the TV show too, and it's still cool. It's cool in all three versions.
But yeah, Stephen Lang and Tom Noonan's version of that scene was just menacing and just fucking full of dread. It was great. I really and I think TJ mentioned this previously when I was talking about Thief. I mean, this movie just drips 80s. Like, it is just it's great.
Yeah, and the soundtrack fucking rules until it sucks.
It rules until it sucks. And
it rules until you get those like 3 like original made for the movie songs with like lyrics and everything, and it was like
it was like the soundtrack to Taboo 2, where it's like here's the lyrics about what you're sort of seeing on screen. We're just gonna be super on the nose.
Did they take the song Man Eater and just change the words to Manhunter?
That would have been better. No, it's like Heartbeat. It sounds like Don Johnson music. It's
shadows in the moonlight grab you. That's
Is the soundtrack Tangerine Dream?
It's something like that. Yeah, it's something like that.
But yeah, it's Tangerine Dream. I think does the most of like the ambient
the ambient stuff is great. Great. When they do like real songs, it's not great.
But I absolutely fucking
and they backload those in the movie too. It's weird. Like it's all the ambient stuff for like 90% of the movie, and then you get all those songs they just crammed in there. It's like it's like Michael Mann paid for those songs. But was like, fuck, I don't really like them. I'll just stuff them in the back nine.
Yeah, but
if you liked Peterson in that, you should watch To Live and Die in L.A. with him and Willem Dafoe about counterfeiters in L.A. It's
I'll check it out. I'm right that
William Friedkin. Yeah,
I'm into it. Like I have a whole new appreciation for William Peterson. I fucking like. I'm a big fan of the Silence of the Lambs. As I think we all probably are.
Oh yeah,
but just the chemistry or the dynamic between Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter, that weird adversarial, like you get I was telling TJ when I was watching it, like the sort of the mentor-mentee sort of relationship you get with Clarice and Lecter, where he kind of like he's sort of like puzzled by her, but he's sort of entertained by it, but it's not, it's barely menacing. It's sort of helpful. That's a fun dynamic, but like the actual, like the venom that Lecter has for Will Graham is much more interesting.
I guess they made the guy write another book because otherwise they would get the rights to the characters or some shit. So he wrote the last book, and then Hannibal and Clarice get married or some shit. Like, it's supposed to be really bad.
It's really
Thomas
bad.
Harris wrote a book where they got married.
Yeah,
he's a classic example of a writer that doesn't understand his own work.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I watched. But I most of the things I watched, I really truly enjoyed. So that was pleasant. Except for
TJ, how did Manhunter hold up on your 58th viewing?
I still loved it. I've watched this movie a million times, so I was like, yeah, it was still great. I don't know. Michael Mann is very good. It sucks that he hasn't made anything good in a long time, but like when he was on his game, that guy was very, very solid.
Like, I want to like Collateral, but I don't. I know I should because they say it's good, and he made it, but I don't care for it.
Is Miami Vice good? I've never seen it, but it's one of these movies that gets brought up a lot in film circles, where it's like a movie that everybody hated, but is actually pretty good. I've never seen it.
I would say saying it's good is a stretch. It's like fun.
Yeah,
like it's real dumb.
Is it like Bad Boys? Like, is it like?
It's better than Bad Boys, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Bad Boys movies. I haven't seen the third one, but at least the first two.
Oh my god, I forgot there was a third one.
Yeah, it's rated R for teamwork. Like no bullshit.
It just came out last year.
It came out like right around the time the lockdown started, I think.
Yeah, it was almost the last movie I saw in the theater, but my buddy and I went and saw fucking Knives Out. Should have saw Bad Boys 3, but that was actually the last movie I saw in the movie theater.
That's terrible. That's awful.
Banger.
That movie ran forever in the theater.
Yeah. Well, they did say it's Bad Boys for life, so.
No, I'm talking about fucking Knives Out. 'Cause I think that came out like November, and I didn't see it till like February.
Yeah, it ran for a while. It deserved it. It was really good.
Banger.
I did watch one thing.
One thing?
I forgot about it. It wasn't a movie. I watched the first episode of What If.
Yeah, I watched that too. Yeah. I liked it.
I thought it was fun. The animation's really cool. That writing leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they had their B-list writers working on it, but like, man, that dialogue and some of the delivery of, I guess, them mixing the voice actors together at the end, like some of that delivery and some of that dialogue was super clunky.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I like the story, and I thought the animation was phenomenal.
Yeah, I like the animation because it's like it's cartoony enough, but it still looks like they can still kind of render what the actors look like. So I thought they did a good job, and they got pretty much all the actors back, except for Dominic Cooper, which I thought was weird. Like you can't pull that. What's he doing?
Oh, that was Chris Evans? I didn't think that was actually Chris Evans.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh. It was definitely Haley Atwell, and I know for like down the road, I think they got Don Cheadle and I think Chadwick Boseman, like technically one of his last performances.
Hopefully they got it chopped up like a fucking chef.
Yeah.
It was some other guy. It was Steve Rogers.
Oh shit.
But Stanley Tucci was in it. No, Dominic Cooper was in it.
Was he in it? Oh wow.
Yeah. And then the guy who did Red Skull in the
Yeah, the guy
Infinity
that,
movies was
The Impressions guy, Ross.
Yeah.
What's his face?
yeah, the guy that does a better Hugo Weaving than Hugo Weaving. It's kind of insane.
So
Also, Daryl
Hammond played a Nazi general.
Wow. Well, I recognized what's his name's voice too from Cabin in the Woods and Get Out. He was the commander. What's that guy's
Brad,
oh, the guy from
Bradley Whitford. Is that his name?
from West Wing or whatever.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He is good.
I also like Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. I thought that was a good casting choice. All right.
I've been here twice now.
Shit,
Hell
how'd that
yeah.
happen?
Two-time.
I thought I closed it by accident, but I guess I didn't. Now I'm here twice.
Did somebody hit you too hard and you duplicated?
Oh
shit! Man, I wish.
Jamie Madrox.
Alex Madrox.
So before we get into Kindergarten Cop 2, trying to just real quickly following up on the Live and Die in LA, that might be a lost movie. It is not streaming anywhere, and
I own it.
All
Yeah, I own
copies
it.
of it are $60 or greater.
You know where I got it? Fucking Food Lion on Blu-ray for $5. Yeah,
I'll get it on the Plex. Just remind me. I have it. I can rip my copy of it.
I wonder how many movies we have that are worth a shitload of money, and I had no idea.
Probably a fair amount because, like, you were at a dying breed of people that actually care about physical media. So,
like, Alex, what was that movie situation at Food Lion? Because I would go there and just get bangers for $5 on Blu-ray like every day.
For a long time, we had like a rack, but it was the same company that like stocks the ones you see like in a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, like Hidden Gems or whatever they're called.
Yeah, but sometimes there was like legit. Like I think I bought my copy that my Captain America First Avenger Blu-ray there for like $5.
Yeah,
and maybe like the Bill and Ted collection or something like that for like $5. Like,
yeah, I got like Straw Dogs on Blu-ray there. I got all kinds of crazy shit there.
I want to know the deal.
It was like stuff that like who the fuck's gonna buy a Blu-ray of Straw Dogs?
Ooh,
so then this company would get it for like $1 and sell it for like $4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, what? But that same company though, like, it's 7-Eleven. Sometimes they don't even have like proper cases. They're just like
it's just like sleeves.
They're like Lucy's in Ziploc bags.
Yeah, it's really weird. But
yeah, like, the collector's edition of Live and Die in LA is $110.
Damn.
Mine's
and it's
just
not streaming anywhere.
Mine's just a Blu-ray. It says Live and Die in LA. It's got a Totoro looks like on the cover holding a briefcase and a pistol. Like that's looking at it right now.
$35 on eBay for a used copy.
God damn.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll figure out where to watch it.
Let's stop avoiding the avoiding the main event.
Feature presentation: Kindergarten Cop 2.
The sequel they made 25 years later that nobody asked for.
And nobody saw.
And nobody wanted.
Yeah, nobody
it was 16 years later. It was 26 years later they made this movie.
Yeah, the first one came out in 91, didn't it?
90. It came out in 90. I just looked it up and I did the math. I did the stupid math in my head. I was like, oh, it's 16 years. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nope. I'm going to be like the writer of this movie. You must use Common Core math.
Yeah, this is.
That's
man,
what
you can't say Indian style anymore.
God, this whole movie is like some conservative guy's like, aren't kids today gay? Isn't that funny? Like,
it's like
I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if Bill Bellamy is the best actor in your movie that came out 5 years ago, you got issues, man.
You got a lot of problems.
You got problems.
He was like Daniel Day-Lewis in this fucking movie, but like the jokes are so hacked. They're like second, and I love The Simpsons, but don't get me wrong. But like the type of joke about like a rich kid's school you would have in the second season of The Simpsons. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
yeah.
This feels like it was written in 1990.
Oh,
like,
maybe that's when they did. Maybe that's when they wrote the treatment.
Oh, you think it's a Blacklist script?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so fucking bad. And then like the stuff that's like ancillary jokes, like the announcements where it's like, oh, and the gender neutral student of the month, and it's like, they just put that in there so they'd be like, oh, see how crazy it is? They don't say boy or girl. Like,
this was
her dads, or
right? It was her dads.
Like, who wouldn't say their parents?
Their parents, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, I mean, we'll get into it, but like at one point, like Dolph Lundgren, who's a 66-year-old man, brings a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to lunch. Like,
and he hates socialism.
yeah. See, it would have been funnier if they leaned into him being Ivan Drago and he like loved like communism. Like that'd have been funny.
Or he was an actual Nazi.
That would have been better. Yeah. All right, like get into the plot.
I mean, have you seen Kindergarten Cop?
Because the people wrote this
several times.
The plot is the exact same, except he falls in
worse.
love with a teacher instead of a student's mother. Oh, wait, was she a teacher in the first?
He should have fallen in love with a
So in
student.
the first,
It should have been the
movie,
Jeffrey Epstein edition.
She was in the first movie. She was a teacher. She was also because she was the other kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, but she was also the mother.
But she's also the mother of the kid in kindergarten, and she was also Crisp's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Who was in witness protection.
Well, like the whole premise of the first one makes sense because it's like, okay, we know this kid's father is the person we're looking for. This one is like, we hope these children are aware of this very small piece of tech that we mentioned 10,000 times. Like, why would they be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but their lunatic kindergarten genius teacher wrote a fucking haiku about it.
Spit out the general outline.
Okay, so OAN's movie 2016 movie of the year, Kindergarten Cop 2.
Yeah, this is definitely an OAN film.
The movie opens. I don't even know how it opens with a guy about to assault a Twix machine because it didn't give him enough Twixes. And
no. It starts out with him.
Starts in a hotel.
Dolph Lundgren and some.
It starts out with pineapple. If you think the word pineapple is funny, then this is the movie for you.
Well, yeah, I guess they couldn't say the offensive words they wanted to say. So,
well, they said retard.
Yeah, but they probably, it's probably just going to be like, you know, the code word was like butt blasters or something, and then that would have been
butt blasters.
I don't know. Let's go with butt blasters. So, so it opens with Dolph Lundgren about to bone down some chick, and then Ivan Zugo shows up.
Bone down.
And he's kicking in the doors with his henchmen, and fucking Dolph Lundgren's about to get his head turned into a canoe, but he says pineapple, and then both the bad boys merged into one human being shows up with the rest of the SWAT team and stops it from happening. So now a year has passed, or whatever. This guy Zuko or whatever is eating stuffed fish and ladies at his house. He is days away from indictment. He's already been indicted. He is days away from federal prosecution, like formal trial, right? Yeah. And they're like, we need to go find my estranged ex-girlfriend who boned down Dolph Lundgren because she's the key witness that will put me in prison, and she's witness protected. So now there's this other guy who killed his brother through manslaughter, and you can't spell laughter without
No, he was in a car accident.
No. He killed him.
What?
He killed him in the car accident. He killed his brother.
Oh, I missed that completely.
And then, but his brother, he entrusted, because he doesn't believe in the internet or the cloud or something, he entrusted his kindergarten genius brother.
There's a point in this movie, it made me laugh so hard, because again, this movie is written by an 80-year-old man, where it's like they're looking for this thumb drive, and Bill Bellamy's like, he didn't upload it to the cloud? The fucking cloud? Oh, not the cloud.
Right. It's like my dad just walking in and calling everything a Nintendo. So this kid's trying to muscle the FBI who are living in Seattle, and it's not working out. But then the entire FBI building in Seattle gets assaulted by foreign nationals.
Oh yeah, this is another Dolph Ziggler-esque World War III situation.
2 scenes later, people are just filing paperwork, and the time in this movie. I was convinced this movie took place in a pocket dimension.
100% chance this FBI building is also the school.
Yeah, it looks the same. Yeah.
That's a good point.
But it's so funny because, I said to guys when we were watching this, I was like, maybe this movie takes place on that planet in Interstellar where an hour is like a day. Remember that shit?
This entire movie, and I'm going to try and put this gently, only functions if every character in the movie is broken glass factory developmentally disabled. Like, otherwise, like, the whole movie won't work.
This movie literally resolves itself by Thursday.
Yeah,
it's 96 hours.
There's a point in this movie where Dolph Lundgren's like to his new girlfriend, he's like, my feelings are still the same for you. It's like, dude, you've known this chick for 16 hours.
I was gonna bring it up. She goes, so everything we have together doesn't mean anything? It's like, you've known this bitch for a day.
We had a
and that's after he calls her a pig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know what is going on with this woman, but she has either had like major head trauma or she is the stupidest person on the face of the earth, which I guess we'll touch on several times.
Also, it's worth pointing out that I think we've found through the last movie and this movie that it's in Dolph Lundgren's rider that it's like the Poochie clause. Like every actress in the movie has to want to fuck Dolph Lundgren. Because like the principal wants to fuck him, and then immediately this like 30-year-old teacher's like, I want to fuck you too, and it's like
at least the principal seems like somewhat age appropriate.
Kinda. Dolph, I looked it up. He was 60. He was like 62 when this movie came out.
The second day that he's there, he's up on a sex auction block.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
And they're going fucking ham.
Yeah.
This was day 2.
Also, I don't know if I ever thought of this before, but do you think Dolph Lundgren learned English by doing impressions of Sylvester Stallone? Because he sounds exactly like him.
He does. You know, there's a little Stallone-ish quality to his voice. I will before we get too far into it. I do want to bring up that in the beginning, in the credits.
Too far into it, we're almost at the end.
But in the credits, right? In the credits, they were doing like director of photography. There's like a slash of crayon and said so and so.
Oh yeah.
And then it said like casting by, and then in the middle it says FBI headquarters, Seattle, and then it's like, and then it was like food services. Like they stuck the setting.
That is a cardinal sin. That is like a very Canadian mistake.
Oh my god. So anyway. So this guy, so there's an assault on a federal building that no one gives a shit about. This Albanian is acting with impunity the entire. He's just skull dragging the FBI for 96 hours, and the hammer is coming down. Like they are openly antagonizing and threatening an FBI agent.
Is there some kind of secret beef between Hollywood and Albanians? Because like not only are they the villains in this, but did you ever see the whole 9 yards or the whole 10 yards? I think they were also the Albanian. Have you ever even met a fucking Albanian in your entire life?
I know the Albanians were the boogeymen in Inside Man. That was the
like the only Albanian I'm aware of is fucking Pepsi from the Big Brothers episode of The Simpsons. Or,
Action Bronson's the only Albanian I know.
Okay.
He's born in America though, right?
Yeah, but he's of Albanian descent. I don't know. He's very proud of it. Fine, fair enough. Anyway, so after their precinct gets assaulted, and after the captain's like, your ass is on the.
You already mentioned it. Sorry, guys, but you already mentioned it. But it is fucking hilarious. There's this like, it's like a Call of Duty-esque like shootout in their office.
It was the No Russian scene.
Yeah,
in Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Except literally, it cuts, and everyone's just business as usual.
Like, well, the camera and the space work is so bad that it looks like Dolph Lundgren's firing directly into a door jamb for half the fucking gunfight.
Well, Dolph Lundgren opens fire first, and I'm not going to get into how cops shouldn't shoot.
Also,
first,
the black chief trope shows up in here, and I don't know if that guy had just learned English that day, but like he has some kind of weird voice accent combo that is just like, it's so bizarre, like it's hard to fucking pay attention to.
Well, his whole shtick was putting his gum behind his ears,
disgusting.
And then he's like, your pants will be dancing with figs unless you figure this out. They're like, okay, cool. So then they're interrogating all of these kindergarten kids because they think there's some connection there. So then they're like,
well, they think that the kids know where the thumb drive is.
Because why? But like, they're also like, what jokes do people remember? It's like, oh, the kid whose dad's a gynecologist, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. It's like, well, how do we button that? It's like, well, don't just do the same joke, but shorter. Like the kid just goes, "My sister has a vagina," which is like, get that kid some help.
Yeah,
like, context in the first movie.
Why did they put subtitles on the one kid?
Yeah, was he Chinese?
He was, but he spoke like no worse than every other kid.
Was that a
like
joke?
I must have been.
We had the subtitles on the whole time, so I don't think I noticed.
That kid was the only thing subtitled in the whole movie.
Yeah.
The Asian kid.
Yeah.
But he spoke no worse English than any other of the 8-year-olds.
But that only happened that one time, right? It's not like it was a running gag.
No, every time he talked through the movie.
Oh, really? Oof.
Yeah.
Given the rest of the quality of the jokes in this movie, I bet that was some Rush Limbaugh fans' like favorite little. Every time the Asian guy speaks, we're on the bottom. Every time he's with his ding dongs and ching changs, he speaks English, sir. Now, but it'll be funny. Don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah.
Also, everyone's gay.
Yeah.
So. Anywho, so Dolph Lundgren's like, I'm going to go invade the school. But unlike the original Kindergarten Cop, where they talk to the little nice old lady principal, and she's like, I don't think this is a great idea, but I'm going to let it happen for the safety of national security, or whatever Chris was up to. This woman, Dolph Lundgren just fakes credentials, and this woman's like... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is the motherfucking FBI. They just need to go, hey, we're the FBI. We're doing this. End of story.
Which is what they do.
It's almost like, but they would just tell the fucking principal, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. End of story. We're the FBI. Here, like, it's almost like Seattle is a rogue FBI fucking agency because, like you said, the fucking invasion by the Albanians is not dealt with at all. It's like it's almost like they're a fucking mob somehow, like the way they're operating.
The entire movie takes place inside the Chaz, and there's no real federal control over anything here. That's what's happening. That's the only explanation I can come up with because none of the FBI has backup.
The FBI is like the NCR or some shit. They're like the remnants of the federal government.
That's all that's left inside the wires. They've set up the federal government has set up a barrier outside Seattle.
I mean, the FBI is so ineffectual in this movie. At one point, Bill Bellamy is doing surveillance on the Russian mob or Albanian mobsters. And they jack him and steal his truck, and they're just like,
and he takes an Uber.
What could I do? What could I do? Fucking Dolph Lundgren gets assaulted on the street, and he just like leaves them there.
They shoot up a fucking topiary garden at 2:00 in the afternoon, and no one responds. Can we also talk about how Bill Bellamy's Fieldcraft is so shitty that he's wearing his linesman outfit over his suit and tie?
I was watching the teacher. I was like, "Is he wearing a fucking tie? He's wearing a tie over a fucking."
Also, like, in that scene, he's like, this guy fucks chicks during the day, and I got 5 Costco cards. What the fuck does that mean?
He's like, I got 5 kids and 18 Costco cards. So first, you only need 1 card. I don't know why you
you have so many Costco cards, bro.
Dumb. Second of all, like, you take your Carhartt one piece and don't wear your tie underneath.
Also, the FBI isn't Fox Force 5. Everybody doesn't have a specialty. Like, they have computer people that just do computers. You're not like a field agent and also the computer guy.
There was a computer thing that happened in this movie where Dolph Lundgren took a multi-port USB thing and plugged it into the USB port of his computer just to plug USB drives into that thing.
That was the best part. God, can we talk about? He used the USB drive. He used this multi-port USB by plugging it into the USB port. He's like, the first thing God said we saw is like, does this computer not have USB ports?
Also, they plug in the flash drive and it just auto opens like a Max Headroom thing. Like it comes in like defragged.
It says FBI database, and it's like glitchy looking. Like it's like
it's like the vaporwave flash drive. Go ahead.
We got to get through it. So Dolph Lundgren shows up. He
started playing Macross 420 or something.
So here's where the movie flips the tropes on its heads because these children are well behaved and good, and then Dolph Lundgren indoctrinates them with libertarian ideals and unprocessed sugar or whatever, overprocessed sugar. They turn into wild animals. The teacher gives him a strike, but still wants his hog. The other teacher's into him, but hates the kid. Kyle Gass shows up, but it's not Kyle Gass. He's a taser. Go ahead.
Hold on, real quick. So the scene when the kids become animals because he gives them like processed sugar or whatever, the hot teacher that Dolph Lundgren eventually bones, or well doesn't bone, almost bones, comes in and she's like, man, these kids, some days it's just too much to deal with. It's like, lady, these are the best behaved children I've ever seen in my fucking life.
God.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, she just basically walks up and like puts like a fake gun in her mouth. Like, ugh, Mondays, right? Like, God, lady, you work in a resort. What is happening?
Yeah, they're like the fucking. It's like that Ayn Rand's Children Institute from The Simpsons or whatever.
I'm gonna give them credit for one thing that I thought would happen that didn't. When they go to do his credentials, I swear to God, I thought they were gonna do all his real life credentials. Like comes up in every movie that he's in. Like you got a letter of recommendation for the mayor. It's like, who gives a shit like about the mayor of Seattle? Like who could care?
Yeah.
I was disappointed that he wasn't a Kimball. Like I was hoping he would be John Kimball's brother or other relative because all of John Kimball's family were also cops.
I mean, why not?
Like I think you briefly touched on it earlier, but he's like Lethal Weapon level unhinged in the beginning of this movie that he is legitimately going to shoot this vending machine in the headquarters. Like,
he's living
this guy's dangerous.
Also, like Lethal Weapon, he lives in the most impossible living situation I've ever. He lives in a
weird trailer.
It's like
Seattle. It rains.
Going back to how
300
dumb
days a year
this woman is. I don't give a fuck how horny a woman is. Like, she's not going to show up to your fucking metal Twinkie RV that you live in outside of like a lake across from the bridge and be like, I'm fucking you in this thing.
I said exactly the same thing to Gogs. I was like, you took a woman back to that, they'd be like, I'm the fucking out of here, dude. You live in like a ramshackle shack. Like, what the fuck?
It implies that he has a shaving station a la Red Dead Redemption 2 outside of his shed.
Doesn't even have probably an actual stove, just uses that grill 24/7. But like, also,
steaks.
I'm not sure what the FBI starting wage is, but I bet you it's a clip above 80 grand a year. And even in Seattle, you're probably doing better than like the Randy Quaid's RV in National Lampoons. You know what I mean? It's a permanent living situation.
I think the indication is that he chooses to live this way because he's got that fancy ass car. So
is it like a rock and roll samurai Henry Rollins obnoxious I don't own a TV thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, didn't going back to Lethal Weapon?
His dad gave it to him.
Didn't
some point
Mel Gibson live in some weird ass situation like that too in Lethal Weapon? Yeah,
but he was a dangerous alcoholic.
Right. He was He was just right. He was He was just.
Wasn't it
like that opened with him with a gun in his mouth, screaming on the couch of said trailer, if I recall correctly.
What's the loaded weapon?
Loaded weapon. They walk in. It's just palatial.
Didn't it have like the Corinthian columns or?
No, we went to Emilio Estevez's place. He walked in the door of his trailer, and then it opened to just a manse, and it was just.
We were talking last week about parody movies. That was a pretty good one.
And he drank an entire boot of liquor. Like he pours it. I love that movie.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just taking a shit.
Fine, just taking a shit. So anyway, so he Dolph Lundgren shows up. He turns the entire Washington public education system on its head. Boys are boys again.
This is definitely
ladies
not public
are ladies
education.
Again. Private, whatever.
Yeah, they said it costs like $50,000.
He gets a guy a job in 12 hours, so he doesn't beat up his kid anymore.
If that guy's been out of work for how long, how's he paying that tuition?
Yeah, good question.
If I lose my job, the first thing's happening is the kids aren't going to any. I'm not paying. They're just going to stay home with me, and we'll all cry together. Like this is not. I'm not paying $50,000 a year. Get the fuck.
Yeah, you got to have them home so you can blame them for all your failures.
That's true.
I mean, I do that remotely now.
I figured you'd just be like the dad in Battle Royal in those flashbacks. Hang yourself with your pants down.
Yeah, it's just I'll paint a picture and then just So
no, not
Battle Royal 2.
No, I'm talking about the main character's dad in the flashbacks in the first one. He flashback to him and he hung himself after taking his son to dinner, but for some reason his pants are pulled down.
We got Jake at one last time. Yeah. So now Dolph Lundgren teaches his children about historical deceit. Dolph Lundgren he usurps the lady teacher from the technology teacher.
It's somewhat incongruent that they go to this soft pussy school, but they play capture the flag every 3 days.
Yeah, for blood or $100 a point or something. People are very into it.
Oh, I think I stepped on you when you said this, but did you bring up Gus, the most annoying?
Hal, the technology teacher, who should have been played by Kyle Gass. This would be a better movie if Kyle Gass is the technology teacher and Jack Black is Dolph Lundgren's character. And then Hal has a taser. He has a bunch of military toys. He has a My Little Pony doll. He called dibs on the hot kindergarten teacher. These are all things we know about Hal. And then he, in the only scene in this movie that warranted an actual laugh, like a genuine laugh that they were going for, he gets his nuts tasered, which was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun.
I don't know, man. When Hal took down the other guard at the end, he was wailing on him like crazy.
Yeah, he looked at a lot of demons.
Like, that dude is dead from Hal's meat fist.
Yeah, he had a good working punch in that one. He got a lot of scores got
also
settled that day.
we talked about the hyper time in this movie. Like, Hal wants to fuck the same teacher that Dolph Lundgren does, and then when he finds out that he does, in like the span of, again, like 6 hours, tries to get Dolph Lundgren fired. Like, what?
Yeah.
No. Well, he's another guy that's like mentally ill in the way that only movies are, where he's like, hey, we should hang out. So what day do you want to hang? Like, it's
I thought they were going to make him gay.
Well, I thought
that was the joke they were going for.
I was telling Gogs, there's no way a guy like that, like a guy that's like kind of socially awkward, doesn't have a lot of friends,
is going to approach Dolph Lundgren.
Exactly. And the minute that Dolph Lundgren says anything that's like, semi-confrontational, that guy's backing down in a heartbeat.
And he's on 4chan 10 minutes later.
It's funny. It's like,
that's exactly what TJ said.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I'm not a big tough guy either. Like, if Dolph Lundgren said anything to me now, he's 70 years old, I'd still be like, all right, man, whatever. Like, he's huge. He's a
You can walk in and just take my wife right now. What am I going to do? Go on Twitter, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
So they find out that the hamster is the key or whatever. Dolph Lundgren, in the matter of like 52 hours.
Oh no! Pause. You skipped over the most important scene in the movie, the date scene. Like, I know we touched on the trailer, but he's like, "You want to see how I stay in shape?" And they go country line dancing for some reason.
Right.
And then she's assaulted by, or not assaulted, but like threatened to be assaulted by the lead gangster. And then Dolph Lundgren pulls her away, explains to her that it's the head of the Albanian crime organization. Yes. She says, how do you know that? He goes, I read it in the paper. And she's like, oh, that's so cute. Like, what is wrong with this fucking woman?
She does, this is why a right-winger nut job wrote this movie. Yeah. Dolph Lundgren pulls her away like every abusive husband's ever pulled any woman away from anything ever.
Yeah.
They get outside. She immediately puts up her East Coast liberal, I don't like being treated like a piece of meat.
Yeah, she literally says, like, I'm an independent woman, I can take care of myself.
And then she pulls back that veneer that I assume every white winger.
Yeah, I mean, you're right either way.
You're still there, yeah.
So just stop it. He's rolling. Anyway, it pulls back that veneer of what women really want, which is a man who takes charge and pulls them to the car to dry hump. Like, that is what they all want.
But, like, Dolph Lundgren could not act more suspicious every time he talks to this woman, and she is either so horny or so stupid, or both, that she's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, when he's going through the flash drive, and he's just like, did the other kindergarten teacher ever give you something to hide, like a flash drive? And she's like,
you ever just just jam some tech up your butthole like one day that you didn't know about? Like,
yeah.
It's about as undercover as when Anders in that episode of Workaholics is Shaunders. He's like, oh, you ever heard about any dragons? Anybody stealing any dragons? Dang, what's up with all these books?
So if I was the crime lord Hugo Boss or whatever his name was, I would just go to the school and go, hey, do you know that you got a crazy FBI agent teaching your kindergarten kids? Yeah. And then that would resolve itself.
Well, also the crazy crime boss guy does like a lot of like legwork where he's dressing up as an FBI agent and interviewing people's parents, and like,
also, would it be a lot more efficient, but probably a pain in the ass, to just relocate the people than to do this weird ass like kindergarten detective shit? Be like, oh, we're burnt. We got to move so and so.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that does happen.
Yeah,
or this guy just goes to prison because his trial is tomorrow. I mean, fuck. He doesn't even know where the drive is. He doesn't know. He only knows where the drive might be because of the actions of the FBI.
Yeah. Gog's brought that up several times. Like, no one would even find this fucking thing. Like, they have, like, no one can find it. So what value is it to anybody?
But I'm saying, just on the odd chance that he does find it, just move the woman someplace. Also, this woman is mentioned several times as Dolph Lundgren's great love and is weirdly never seen in the actual movie again. Like, you think she would pop up at some point?
She's in like that first scene for like 5 seconds.
And then she slaps him because he's in the FBI. And then you think, you either think that she's going to be the driving force later, or you think that, but all they're doing that is to set it up to the fact that Dolph Lundgren likes to fuck.
Well,
like,
it's
what
like
are we doing?
The other teacher is so stupid that I thought it was going to turn out that she was part of the Albanian mob. You know what I mean? And she was just going along with everything.
I like that better.
That would have been a better movie.
Right. Like sleeping with the enemy sort of scenario.
Yeah.
But anywho,
no, she's just a straight up dum-dum.
So the movie culminates with Chekhov's trip to the sculpture garden because it was alluded to in an earlier jump drive that auto-loaded. And they go, and the fucking the Albanians show up with Bill Bellamy because no one's watching his back, and they bring they lock down the school because they know that the Albanians are coming, so they evac all the kids except for the kids on the field trip. And at $50,000 a year, if I find out that there's terrorists attacking my kids and we're going to a sculpture garden, I hope they would call them back, but they don't.
Also, they do an incredibly shitty job of locking down the school.
They did the exact opposite. But it was an opposite day. They were just like, let's open it back up.
These guys just walked right in. And also, like, no police or anything. These guys just walked right in.
Yeah,
also, how do they know that this guy hasn't made 75 copies of this flash drive by now? You know what I mean? It's a fucking Excel sheet. It's not like you could store it on your watch.
Right.
Like, why all this fucking cloak and dagger shit? Just, like, throw the fucking flash drive away and save it somewhere else, like the cloud.
Yeah. So, anyway, the fucking the principal goes all Bobby Bonilla on a fucking Albanian to save goddamn Bill Bellamy, but Bill Bellamy's like, all right, you got this, right? And just leaves the principal and a gigantic, dangerous man just there in the school, only to, I guess, be captured yet again and then dragged to the sculpture garden with everyone else. No. They were just going to shoot Bill Bellamy.
They try to work Bill Bellamy into those like kind of like 80s, like, man, white people crazy, but he delivers them like to the audience, which is bizarre. Like there's one where he's just like, can't help white people. Like, well, yeah, but like, I don't know why that's in there and why you delivered it in such a bizarre way. And then I think at this point they're like, oh, just kill him. It's like, yeah, kill the black guy. I'm like, what the fuck are we even doing in this movie right now?
Yeah.
So they go to the
whoever wrote it's like, I heard those jokes before. That's I can fit it in here. Like, what?
They go to the sculpture garden. Dolph Lundgren sees Cowboy and says, "Be brave like Odysseus."
Cowboy is one of the children.
Yeah, which is one of the children, which is code for hide in these sculptures, which I have no idea why I know they're hollow, only to show up and do the Trojan horse thing and put children in the line of fire to possibly save us later. Like,
how great would it be if they just go to that and the kids just like slowly fall out of the bush bleeding?
Yeah,
that would have been way better. Also, like we've pointed out several times, there was never a scene where Dolph Lundgren explains the fucking Trojan horse thing, but there's never a scene where he gives them like a plan.
Code?
Like, and it's like, all of a sudden they're there again. Like he's been a teacher with these kids for 2.5 days.
I mean, these be like, maybe he has the shine. Like, what is going on? So anyway,
you like Twix, Doc?
Yeah, you like ice cream, Dolph? You like ice cream, Dolph? So now we go, and these children attack the Albanians. The guns are kicked loose until they're not.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So now the plot has been foiled. Zuko gets his gun back. The calculus of the scenario hasn't changed. They've already got the drive. He could just shoot Dolph Lundgren, but instead he just runs off into the woods.
Yeah, it makes no sense. He was about to shoot. He was about to fight, or he's about to shoot Dolph Lundgren. Then for some reason, the kids come out, he gets his gun back, and then he's still running from Dolph Lundgren. Just shoot him. You still have the gun. He does not, sir.
So now it all resolves itself.
Alec, what were you going to say?
No.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry.
So I think it was just probably just a sigh of disgust. So now
I had a lot of those watching this movie.
And then so the movie ends with all of these parents. The one guy just got a fresh job. All the juicy moms are all hot for Dolph Lundgren. They're all cheering for the fact that this man just put all of their children in international danger. And then out of the fucking mist, the captain shows up to like get in Dolph Lundgren's ass for half a second, and then he wanders back into the woods.
Yeah.
And then the movie just kind of ends. Like,
these kids, by the way, they were already on the bleeding edge of neurosis day one. Are fucking done. Like, you might as well just scrap the whole class and throw them in a bin somewhere because these kids are fucked.
I have to point out that the movie doesn't just end. The movie ends with one of the worst renditions of the Jackson 5's ABC you're ever going to hear. Like,
I assume it was also the cheapest rendition.
Yeah. Well, I think earlier, Gogs and I, when we were watching the movie, there's so many examples of like royalty-free blues music.
I never heard royalty-free Motown until this movie.
Yeah.
Like, that is something.
I was telling TJ, I was hoping the movie would just end with the original pressing of Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, and then we realized that that's where they spent the entire budget for the whole movie.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
So that was it. That was Kindergarten Cop 2.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Bad. It's really, really bad. It's
feels
not
like a
funny.
movie that was written like, you know, that like I fed 8,000 hours of Olive Garden commercials into a computer and it wrote a script. That's what this felt like. If you took Kindergarten Cop and every other 80s movie and just had a computer write it.
Yeah. This is like if like Parler was just passing around a fucking flashlight at a campfire, just trying to come up with plot points. They're like, yeah, and make it so that all the wrestling is non-gendered, and then make sure that people's, you know, like life-threatening peanut allergies are made.
There were conservative jokes that I didn't even get, and I swim in some deep water when it comes to that shit. Like, it's like our non-gender wrestling team named the Magic Markers. Like, was that a joke that like I should understand?
I didn't get it.
Somebody in Middle America was like, "Those fucking liberals."
Yeah, that's the whole movie. Like it's not funny.
But just when it stops, that Dolph Lundgren go like, "Don't you fucking share anything with anybody. If you're better than anybody, you be the best." Like it's like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, the script was also like by General Mike Flynn.
Also, like it's fucking insane to me to think that like I don't know. You know, obviously, like we're of a certain generation, but like sharing is a pretty easy, universal thing that all children learn. But like Dolph Lundgren's like, fuck no.
Yeah, it's not like the kids are talking about fucking universal basic income and shit. They're talking about like sharing like snacks.
Dolph Lundgren's like, here's some chocolate chip cookies. Let me tell you. Now I'm explaining to you retards why socialism sucks.
Oh, we can't say retards anymore. Those are retarded.
Why can't we? That is retarded. Why can't we say retard? Next you're going to tell me I can't call them all faggots. Is that what you're saying?
It turned like weirdly Italian.
Yeah, like that was like, I bet that was, at some point I was going to tell TJ, I was like, I bet there was a part, at some point in the script, there was a scene where Dolph Lundgren walks in and calls all the kids F words.
Well, like, it's weird too, because like there's like no other like really objectionable language, I think, in the rest of the movie at all.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sitting on this retards joke and somebody's got to say it. Like,
yeah.
Whether it fits or not. Like,
I was just burning the hole in some writer's pockets. Like, oh God, we got to slip in how we can't say retards no more. Oh God, like, that was it was some guy that was his entire. It was like the guy who wrote what's the movie where Johnny Knoxville fakes it at the Special Olympics? Like that writer was in the
Ringer. That movie has a fucking fantastic joke in it though. That I do love, where he's like, that guy's the Deion Sanders of retards. Like.
But yeah, he was like, my whole meal ticket dried up and we can't say that word no more. I got to make a point of saying that right now.
This movie, like, all the jokes, like the liberal jokes, are like bottom of the junk drawer. Like, I forget. I don't know, one of you guys said it one time where it's like the French waiter joke is like the dollar bin joke. You know what I mean? It's like, this is like the dollar bin joke for liberals. Like, it's so fucking just... It's so hacky.
It's just easy. It's just so it's just like every. It's just every old. Like this was written by a guy wearing Oakleys in the front seat of an F-150. Like it was just. It's every talking point about the current state of education.
But like it would almost make more sense if they were high school students. One, they might know what a flash drive is, and two, like are kids like. Are people overly worried about gendering kindergartners? You know what I mean? Like it seems odd.
Well, to answer your question, certain people certainly are because people are fucking insane these days. So
High School Garden Cop would be a fun movie, though.
Anything else, guys? Alec, what did you think of this movie?
Oh my God! Can we just get the 5 knuckle shuffles?
Oh, okay. Jesus, man.
He wants to go back on vacation, leave the man alone. All right, let's.
I regret everything.
Oh wait! Do you want to tell? It's not going to apply this week, but TJ, do you want to explain certified good ass?
Oh shit! Yeah, I know. Yeah, I forgot. So I've come up with a new designation for good movies that we watch on the show, and it's a certified good ass movie.
Okay.
So if I think an average score of 9.
I think it's an average score of 8
or higher.
An average score of 8 or
yeah,
above.
that is a certified good ass movie, and I have a logo that I'm working on.
Is it? I gotta dig up the certified fine logo that we had.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
and just a tomato with like the straight face.
And certified good ass movie. I don't know. I was kicking around in my head, and I thought it sounded funny.
Yeah.
And the sexy sister to that will be Shitty Even with Titty, which will be the bad movies. Even
that does have titty in it. A lot of bad movies have titty. All right, 5 knuckles left time. Alec.
I'm gonna go. I've never done this before. I'm going 0. Not only is this like a terrible movie that never should have been made, and also sullied a good movie that I liked when I was younger. Like, who funded this? Who funded this movie? Like, who put up money and was like,
University.
"Yeah, this is a good idea."
Prager University.
Like, this thing is just like the turd of turds. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Capital Arts Entertainment.
Who's the guy who runs the 700 Club? Pat Robertson. This is one of his. This is his vehicle.
Universal. Ugh. Maybe they'll go bankrupt soon as penance for this turd.
And then Jaws will be public domain.
Oh, hell yeah. This thing sucks. Nobody's good in it. Like, it's not funny. There's no jokes. Bill Bellamy is the best part of the movie, and if that's the best part of your movie, man, you're in some trouble.
You really
the last thing I remember him in at all, not even like being good in, was that show Fastlane with him and Peter Fanicelli.
Yeah, I remember.
And that was like 15 years ago. Like, who
was that? One of those one
like
season Fox cop shows?
Yeah, it was like a Fox cop show where it was like a ripoff of like Fast and the Furious, I think. Man, I swear, like this was torture trying to get through it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even that long. It was barely an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was actually kind of short. It was on the shorter side.
Felt like I was watching Suicide Squad in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Except that was fun. TJ.
It's like a 1 for me, dog. And the only reason it gets a 1 point bump is because I laughed when that guy got his nuts tased, and that's it. That's the only thing I'll ever remember about this movie, and that won't even last very long. This movie shouldn't exist. It's an affront to God. It's an affront to art as a film as an art form. It's total trash, and the cherry on top of the shit sundae is that the comedy that it does have, like we've already talked about, is literally just like the like ultra right wing, like isn't everything nowadays like whoever wrote this script uses the term pussification a lot.
They should have got Steven Crowder to play Dolph Lundgren's part.
I mean, that would have been funnier.
Kindergarten's easy to teach. Change my mind.
Yeah. He's too busy posting about his like tit surgery or whatever the hell he's doing. But anyway, Yeah, this movie fucking sucks. It's terrible. Shaunn.
It's a 0, dude. Like, how could it not be? It's like I don't even understand what the point. Like, at least with like Blade Runner 2049, and it's gonna be the last time I compare these movies, even though we've already done it twice. It has a hardcore cult following that is going to see the movie at least once, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a seminal movie. Like, Kindergarten Cop's a fun comedy we saw when we were kids. Are there diehard fucking Kindergarten Cop? Like, is there a Kindergarten Cop con somewhere? Like,
well, I would also argue that, or not argue, but I'd add that Blade Runner is like a rich world, and there's a lot you could do, even if you didn't make a direct sequel to Blade Runner. There's a lot of things a lot of different directions you can go. It's not like there's a lot of world building in Kindergarten Cop.
I was going to say, like, the only way that Kindergarten Cop 2 makes sense is if the kindergartner joins the FBI, but they already made a movie like that, I think, with Burt Reynolds and some little kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which
Cop
I
and
think.
a half.
Cop and a half, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand what this movie is doing or who it's for, or, like, I don't know what they thought they were cashing in on, unless it was just like, yo, if we don't make another Kindergarten Cop movie in the next 30 years, Marvel gets the rights back or whatever the fuck. So we got to do it just to keep it. Like, it's so, like, I'm shocked that, like, this movie's so bad, like, I'm surprised they got Bellamy and Lundgren. You know what I mean? Like, it's beneath Bill Bellamy to be in this movie. And even Dolph Lundgren, even in his, like, late career fucking nadir, like, it feels like a pilot for a Kindergarten Cop TV show on, like, I don't even know what, like,
the Roku channel.
Yeah, like, it's just fucking just abject garbage. But I wasn't as, like, bored because it was so, like, also insane. I mean, I was bored, but I wasn't, like, Bicentennial Man bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Gobbles.
So I'm having a hard time with this one because I don't know. This is either a 0 or a 5. Like, it's just so, like, it just so doesn't need to exist. Like, I will forget about this movie soon. Like, I'm not angry at this movie. It's just dumb. It's just dumber than dog shit. It makes me wonder that if Dolph Lundgren holds a lot of these wacky right-wing ideals, and this is kind of like his passion project. Like, I don't know why else he would be involved. I did a little digging while people were talking about some of the bona fides of the folks that made this movie. The guy who directed it wrote Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Weird.
Some of the other people who...
Guys, do you know that movie takes place in the future?
I did not.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's like a cyberpunk movie or some shit, I swear to God.
Yeah.
The other writers for this, they wrote things like Space Jam and Trading Places and Twins. The guy who
the Twins is probably the original, right?
Yeah, they had to give him a story by credit.
No, the original guy he only wrote 2 things, Kindergarten Cop and Kindergarten Cop 2. This movie is just, it's...
Oh, so this is like a passion project.
Yeah, like this movie's just, no one acts the way humans would act in any scenario.
Shouldn't have been a passion project. Should have been a Passion of the Christ project, and they crucified him for it.
Amen. I mean, it's a 0, I guess. I mean, it's dumber than dog shit, and it doesn't. I think nothing about it makes a lick of. No one would ever do any of the things that ever happened in this movie. Like, it wouldn't, if the whole thing took place in like a dying AI's final thoughts, like that might make sense.
Oh, this is the end of the fucking the epilogue to I Have No Mouth and Must Scream.
Yeah, like if at the very end it pulled back and it was just Hal's light fading out, I'd be like, oh, okay. I get that. That makes sense to me.
I would have given the movie a 9 if that's how it ended.
No, this is just it is unrepentantly stupid, and I can't get it.
But it's not fun.
But it's not fun.
It'd be one thing if it was stupid and like madcap and like they leaned into how bad it was.
Right, but
it's just boring.
But it thinks it's fun, which makes it worse. Like, it thinks it's having a good time.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If Dolph Lundgren came in there with a fucking drove into the school with like a grave digger or something and like shot guns in there, like that would be fun.
If it went Last Action Hero, but in a kindergarten, cool. But this is just this is one of the worst things we've seen, just for the weirdest reasons possible. So
Like, Kevin Nash should have starred in this.
Yes.
right. You know what? I want
Shawn Michaels.
What's the big boy from Arch Enemy who I love?
Joe Manganiello.
So Kindergarten Cop 3 needs to have him, but it needs to be the character from Arch Enemy, and he's teaching kindergarten.
That's a good ass movie.
That's
a certified good ass movie. Arch Enemy.
Yeah, it came and went.
Yeah.
God bless.
Anyway, what are we watching next week?
I think it's my pick, unfortunately. I had something for this.
Please let it be Rocky 4.
It's not, though.
Fuck.
Maybe it will be. Should it? You know what? God. All right, I'm just gonna call it. I'll call it Rocky 4 just because I feel.
All right,
we need to watch it. I just for funzos, I might watch the other thing I was gonna watch, which wasn't Red Scorpion. What was it? Dark Angel, where he gets to play.
Watched Dark Angel.
We watched Dark Angel.
It's also titled I Come in Peace. It's the same movie.
That movie rules.
Oh, that's the same. Oh,
it's the same movie.
We also
slaps.
We also did Red Scorpion. I think you were golfing or something that week.
Red Scorpion is a movie that, in retrospect, I think we all like a lot more than we did when we watched it.
So Rocky 4, the Dolph Lundgren, or I'm sorry, the Ivan Drago origin story.
Yeah, Rocky 4 is great. All right, fine. We get to watch a movie that's good.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I'm into it.
All right, everybody, that's the show.
Right.
Alec, go back to enjoying your vacation.
Yeah,
I'll try after this.
Your best.
I brought it on myself. I can't complain.
I mean, I made us all watch Jiu-Jitsu, so we all have our crosses to bear.
I'm still responsible for fucking La Samurai, and I picked that thinking it was going to be good. So
I thought I loved Krull, so here we are.
Yeah.
Well, who picked Cosmic Sin? I think that was me too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
that was me. That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew we were getting into. I guess I didn't mention. I watched the first 6 minutes of Breach, and I was like, "Nope." And
that's the movie they made in the. That's the movie they made the following weekend after.
I think it was the next sound stage over. It was like there was like some road cones. And on this side, it's Breach, and on this side, it's Cosmic.
I watched some YouTube video where the guy was reviewing Breach, and they got he has Bruce Willis has a flamethrower in that movie that looks like a super soaker. God bless. Anyway, all right, everybody.
All right.
Goodbye.
Later, boys. Bye.
Night.